Hey, just want to drop a quick note before the episode begins that I'm going to be dropping shorter episodes like these from time to time between the normal longer episodes that'll come every Thursday. And the point for these smaller episodes is that I really want to be able to briefly dip into some concepts, some topics, some recurring themes in relationships that deserve a bit of a reframe and, quite frankly, deserve our attention. Today's episode is all about the unspoken and really good reasons why men, why you're a man, why you as a man might not be as emotionally expressive. And what I really want to make clear in this episode is that these reasons aren't arbitrary and they're not about your character. They're not about men being a certain way as a monolith, but they're about conditioning and patterning that create these adaptive responses, these really common reactions that often in relationships lead to triggers, lead to issues, lead to dissatisfaction. And a lot of men end up losing their partners because of this really painful problem of not being able to access a level of emotional fluency, of emotional expression that's satisfactory to their partner. And if this is something that's resonating with you, if you're a woman listening to this, or if you're in partnership with a man and you're listening to this, I really think this episode, more than for the men in the audience, is for you. It's not a choice a lot of the time why a man might not be showing up in his deepest, rawest, most vulnerable emotions. And what I'm talking about in this episode is exactly the kind of thing that I'm going to be working through directly with men in Reclaiming the Gentle Man, the 21-day experience, the course that I'm putting out. The whole point of that course is to help men shed the armor that we unconsciously put on as kids. And this lack of emotional expression that is so commonplace among men in relationships really is the result of that armor. It is, in many ways, what that armor is made of. And most men have no idea that they're wearing it. And even just knowing that you're wearing this armor, right? It's not enough just to say, hey, you're being armored right now, or often what a lot of men hear is you're being defensive. What's really needed is a recognition of what that armor has offered us in life, what that armor gives to a man in his daily life, and honoring that. And slowly and carefully and with love and reverence, learning to shed that armor, learning to take it off when the time for intimacy, when the time for expression and vulnerability is here. And so if you want to learn more about what that process is like, if you want to learn more about what Reclaiming the Gentle Man really is all about, please go to davelashansky.com. There's a link in the bio. The doors for this program are closing on May 22nd. That's this week. So please, if this is resonating with you, if this is something you want to participate in, sign up, sign him up. Everything in the course will be recorded. There is no need to attend live, but what we are doing over the course of these 3 weeks is utterly transformational. I've condensed everything I do with men in my circles and my coaching containers into a 21-day, highly impactful experience. And it only requires 3 hours over 3 weeks. And right now, the men who join for this initial offering are getting it for an incredibly low investment. So please don't hesitate. Go to davelashansky.com, sign up, become a founding member, and let's make this thing so impactful. Let's make this thing actually create change in your relationships. All right, let's dive into the really good reasons why a man might not be as emotionally available and expressive. This is the Reclaiming the Gentleman podcast. I'm Dave Lashansky. So the thing about becoming an emotionally fluent man, a man that's expressive, a man that's gone from being told that he's emotionally unavailable to a man that is expressive and aware of what's happening inside of him and shares that with the women, the men, the people in his life who he's close to. The thing about becoming that emotionally fluent man that no one talks about, the way to move from emotional unavailability to becoming emotionally fluent. The piece of that no one talks about is that emotions are inconvenient. It's not as simple as just saying, tell me how you're feeling. There's a cost to not being stoic. There's a cost to not holding in your emotions, to expressing your grief, your worries, your fear, your anxiety, your hurt, your anger, and even your joy. And when we don't slow down and just expect men to go from emotionally unavailable to emotionally expressive, to fluent in emotional expression, we entirely miss the reasons why men might not be expressing himself in the first place. Emotions are inconvenient. And part of the way that men serve their partners in relationship, part of the way that men serve their families is by holding the extra, by taking up less space and putting their emotional baggage, their emotional turmoil, their experience inside them, on their shoulders, for only them to bear. So that there's more space, there's more openness, there's more energy for the emotions of others. The other thing that men get from holding in their emotions is that it shows the people around them that he can be trusted when the tough stuff happens, right? When danger shows up. If ever his family were to be in danger, if ever the woman he loved were to be in danger, he holds his emotions in so that she knows she can trust him, even if that's never happened, even if it might never happen ever. The fact that he knows that she can trust him makes him feel secure. It makes him feel manly. It makes him feel masculine and safe. The problem is that the strategy of holding things in actually ends up having the opposite effect. Because while, sure, she might feel safe if there were a gun pointed at them, the problem is she's not usually getting a gun pointed at her, at least not every day, but she is feeling incredibly unsettled, uncomfortable, and unsafe when he's not expressing himself, when he's walking around trying to hold it all in, trying to come off as normal when he's stressed or anxious or angry or hurt, when he minimizes his own experience for her sake, it ends up biting him in the butt. This is the paradox of transformation. The thing that we fear happening, the thing that we try, we put every effort in our bodies that we can to avoid. The paradox of transformation is that thing that we're trying to avoid becomes the thing that we bring into reality, becomes the thing that we manifest, because we're putting so much energy into avoiding it. And I know this because I am the king of it. I spent the first 5 to 7 years of my relationship doing everything I possibly could to make sure that my partner never got mad at me, to make sure that I showed up as the perfect partner and that I never burdened her. And the most painful recognition was realizing how much energy I put into trying to prevent that outcome and seeing how it was trying to prevent it was exactly the thing that made her annoyed at me, was exactly the thing that brought about my presence being a burden to her. That is a bitter, bitter medicine. And what I want to do is help men understand that there is a better way to get what you want. That instead of fearfully or avoidantly or beating around the bush or doing all of these kind of passive tactics to help her feel safe in your presence, what I want to do is help men get right to the heart of how to help her feel safe and secure in your arms, in your presence, in your relationship. So the most important thing that I really want you to take away from this episode, this short but really important episode, is this. Recognize that there is a cost to giving up your identity as a stoic, not emotionally needy, not a super emotional person. There's a cost to giving up that identity. And the cost is what you believed was making her love you, consciously or unconsciously. The cost is being seen as someone who might never be a burden. The cost is that you're going to have to spend some energy honoring your own experience. And you're going to have to be in the risk of asking others to do the same. That is not a small cost. But I promise you this, you are paying either way. And it is 10 times better to pay that cost up front, to do this work up front, to do the hard thing first, than to beat around the bush and try to hold it all. And then when the tsunami comes, get completely bowled over and punch a wall. God forbid hurt her. God forbid hurt yourself. The emotions you have inside must be recognized in some way or another. When you recognize what you're giving up by expressing, by acknowledging, by simply being aware of your emotional presence and needs, you begin the process of transforming into the man that makes her feel the most safe and secure. This is how you get her trust. This is how you get her to hold space for you, to recognize you and your strength, to really see you and be grateful for what you give to her, what you sacrifice for her, the way you serve her. To actually being seen and respected. This is how you make her feel safe and secure and ready to offer her whole self to you. I want this show to be inspiring and motivating and unifying, not just for men, but for all of us. I want this show to offer us a vision of what our future could be. One where we see and respect each other. One where we understand each other and feel understood. And if you are getting any of that from this, the best way you can support me in creating this, and creating more of that experience, is to share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with the people in your life who you think would really understand this message. And go to davelashansky.com. Check out Reclaiming the Gentleman. Check out this new offering and join. Sign up the people in your life who you think would benefit from it. What's the best that could happen? Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, I'll see you on Thursday.